Welcome to another episode of Our Money. Today, we delve into the history of the first type of $500 notes in the United States. By 1861, the Civil War was already a hugely expensive conflict that drove the federal government into desperate need of funds for the Union's war effort. In response, Congress authorized the creation of interest-bearing notes, a form of debt instrument meant to raise essential funds. The Morrill Tariff Act, approved March 2, 1861, authorized the first interest-bearing notes in denominations of $50, $100, $500, and $1,000. The system functioned straightforwardly. Interested individuals could purchase notes with an annual interest rate of 6%, payable semi-annually. This meant that every 6 months, the note holder could visit the Treasury and receive 3% interest on the face value of the note in gold. After 2 years, the holder could collect the face value alongside the final interest payment. The first $500 note issued by the U.S. Treasury featured the portrait of General Winfield Scott. A vignette of a man with a pack was to its left, while a resting farmer with a scythe graced its right side. The obligation stated, 2 years after date, the United States promises to pay to the order of, the holder would have been identified by hand, $500, with interest at 6% payable January 1st and July 1st. The upper border read, issued in pursuance of an act of Congress approved March 2, 1861. Just below this authorizing act, and to the right of the portrait, the note would be dated. Both sides of the portrait held serial numbers. Intriguingly, these notes did not incorporate a Treasury seal in their design. The left border stated that it was receivable in payment of all public dues, while the right informed the holder that it was convertible into bonds of the United States. Register Lucius Chittenden and Treasurer Francis Spinner or their authorized representatives would have signed it. Turning the note over, you would find a design printed in light brown ink. The words United States of America, a letter D, and pay to bearer are printed, the letter D representing 500 in Roman numerals. Today, there are no known examples as it was issued. However, a single proof is known, making it a unique artifact. Congress amended the Morrill Tariff Act twice in 1861. The amendments authorized notes that accrued interest for 60 days in denominations of $50, $100, and $500. But no examples of the $50 notes exist today. The 60-day issue featured a portrait of George Washington on the left side. At the center, a vignette symbolizing prosperity and, on the right, an image of an eagle with a shield and the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many, one. The obligation read, the United States promised to pay 60 days after date to the order of, the holder's name would be handwritten, with interest at 6% per annum. Just below the top border, the date and serial numbers would have been included. The bottom border informed the holder that it was receivable in payment of all public dues. These notes did not incorporate a Treasury seal either. Like the previous issues, authorized representatives of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner would have signed them. The reverse was uncomplicated, featuring a pair of 500s and the phrase pay to bearer. There is a single known proof, making it a rare collectible. Through the Act of July 17, 1861, Congress approved additional notes in denominations of $50, $100, $500, $1,000, and $5,000. These accrued interest for 3 years at a rate of 7.3%, giving them the popular moniker of 730 notes. These featured a portrait of George Washington. On the left, a vignette symbolizing justice and, on the right, another vignette symbolizing transportation. The obligation stated, 3 years after date, the United States promised to pay to the order of, the holder's name added, $500 with 7 3/10% interest, payable semi-annually. The upper border indicated, interest 10 cents per day. Below it, either August 19, 1861, or October 1, 1861 was printed, signifying the date the note started accruing interest. The lower border informed the holder that it was convertible into 20-year 6% U.S. bonds. Unlike the previous issue, these displayed their serial numbers in bold red on each side of Washington's portrait. However, blue serial numbers were also issued. Act of July 17, 1861, was printed on the lower left. The right border contained the text, 5 coupons attached. Last 6 months interest $18.25 payable with note. Prior installments payable only on presentation of coupon therefore. Like previous designs, these did not feature a Treasury seal. This issue was unique as all denominations had 5 coupons attached, each representing the interest for a 6-month period. Even though no coupons for the $500 note remain, they would have read, pay bearer $18.25 August 19, 1862, for first 6 months interest on $500 U.S. Treasury note, followed by a red printed serial number. Each coupon had a distinct date, all set 6 months apart. These could be detached from the note to collect the interest. The final interest and original amount would be paid by presenting the note itself. All coupons bore Treasurer Spinner's printed signature. As with the previous issue, authorized representatives of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner would have signed these notes. On the reverse, the text read, United States of America, pay to bearer, and interest on this note 10 cents per day, surrounded by intricate design work. The $500 note of this issue is exceptionally rare today, with only 2 known to exist. With the Act of March 3, 1863, Congress gave the green light for the issuance of 1-year notes of $10, $20, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, and $5,000 denominations. Regrettably, the 1-year $500 note has disappeared into the pages of history, as there are no known surviving examples today. In addition to this, it also approved $50, $100, $500, and $1,000 notes with a 2-year interest. The 2-year issue featured vignettes of a bald eagle with a nest at its center and liberty with an anchor and flag at the left. The new obligation read, 2 years after date, the United States will pay $500 to bearer with interest at 5% per annum, payable semi-annually. The last 6 months' interest will be paid with this note. The top border read, this note is legal tender for $500. The Enabling Act of March 3, 1863, was printed above the eagle. It was identified as a Treasury note on the bottom border. Implementing another change, the bill showcased the engraved signatures of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner. This issue continued utilizing the coupon system, which read, the United States will pay $12.50 to the bearer for 6 months interest due June 1, 1864, in Treasury notes for $500. This coupon is void if detached from this note except by an authorized officer of the government. The signature of Treasurer Spinner was also included. The center of the back incorporated new text that read, this note is a legal tender at its face value, excluding interest, for all debts, public and private, except duties on imports and interest on the public debt. Counterfeiters were warned that counterfeiting or altering this note, or passing any counterfeit or alteration of it, or having in possession any false or counterfeit plate or impression of it, or any paper made in imitation of the paper in which it is printed, is felony, and is punishable by $1,000 fine or 15 years imprisonment at hard labor, or both. No known circulating issues remain. The only known example is a one-of-a-kind proof. In its continuing efforts to fund the war, Congress approved the Act of June 30, 1864, authorizing an additional issuance of $50, $100, $500, $1,000, and $5,000 denominations. Unfortunately, no examples of the $1,000 and $5,000 are known to exist today. The newly authorized $500 notes displayed a portrait of Alexander Hamilton at the center. To the left, a vignette of a mortar, and to the right, a half-length bust of George Washington. The obligation read, 3 years after date, the United States promised to pay to the order of, with the holder's name also handwritten, $500 with 7 3/10% interest, payable semi-annually in lawful money. On the upper border, it stated, interest 10 cents per day. Below it, one would find either August 15, 1864, or March 3, 1865. The Enabling Act of June 30, 1864 was included on the lower border. This issue featured serial numbers printed in striking red, and for the first time on this type of note, the Treasury seal was included in bright red to the upper left of Washington's portrait. On the right border, where the coupons would have been attached, the notification read, 5 coupons attached. Last 6 months interest payable with note. Prior installments payable only on presentation of coupons therefore. Each coupon would have had a number from 1 to 5 in red. The text would have read, pay bearer $18.25 February 15, 1865, for first 6 months interest on $500 U.S. Treasury note number, followed by the serial number of the note, printed in red. The signature of Treasurer Spinner was also included. This issue showcased the printed signatures of Register Stoddard Colby and Treasurer Spinner. On the back, it read, pay to bearer and convertible at the option of the holder into bonds redeemable at the pleasure of the government at any time after 5 years and payable 20 years from August 15, 1867, with interest at 6% per annum, payable annually in coin. This text could also be found with the date of March 3, 1868. This note is another rarity, with only one known example remaining today. With the Act of March 3, 1865, Congress approved the last interest-bearing notes. Like previous issues, it included denominations of $50, $100, $500, $1,000, and $5,000. The last $500 interest-bearing notes featured the same design as those authorized by the previous act, with Alexander Hamilton, a mortar, and George Washington. Minor changes included blue serial numbers and the date, which could have been June 15, 1865, or July 15, 1865. The Act of March 3, 1865, was updated on the lower border. The notification about the usage of the coupons remained intact on its right. The coupons did not undergo any changes other than the serial number being printed in blue. Upon flipping the note, the design and text were not altered, except the date of June 15, 1868, or July 15, 1868, depending on the date shown on the front. Today, only one known example remains, bearing the date June 15, 1865. We hope you enjoyed this journey through some extremely rare notes from an extremely historic time. Remember, stay curious.